Hello, and welcome into today's edition of the Arizona State Sun Devils Insider Podcast. My name is Kevin Hicks, and I'm the lead beat writer for Arizona State Sun Devils on SI. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's edition of the podcast. As you can see below me each and every day, please follow me on X/Twitter when you get a chance at khicks_21. The support from each and every one of you that tunes in means the world to me, and I can't wait to get into football season. We're now under 80 days away from that. So absolutely exhilarating feeling and so excited to start covering the team on the ground every single day. Um, but we're actually going to steer off of the football topic a little bit today. This might be a little bit shorter of an episode compared to some others, but I wanted to talk about some basketball. Obviously, Arizona State alumni Luguentz Dort is in the NBA Finals, and now the Oklahoma City Thunder are 2 wins away from an NBA championship. Obviously, a 68-win team this season, historically strong NBA team, and Dort has started in every single game that he's appeared in this season, including all 20 playoff games. Um, He's averaged about 8 points a game during the playoffs, shooting about 35% from three, and obviously bringing his trademark hard nosed defense to the table. Bobby Hurley, at his session with media last week, was absolutely thrilled for Dort and his success. He knew that that was coming for him one day ever since he stepped foot on Arizona State's campus in 2018 as a freshman. We all know the story there. He averaged about 16 points a game. He was the clear leader of the team even as a freshman. He was the catalyst of the offense. He led the team to an NCAA tournament appearance and victory in the first four over St. John's. And if they hadn't run into a team such as Buffalo, who's to say they couldn't have made a little bit of a run in the tournament? That team was very talented, and Dort was at the forefront of it. And it still baffles me to this day how Lou Dort was undrafted in the 2019 draft. There was no way that there was even 30 prospects better than him, let alone 60. And the fact that the Oklahoma City Thunder and their phenomenal player development system got a hold of him, he's been an impact starter ever since, even during the rough years in Oklahoma City. And now he's considered one of the best defenders in the sport. Obviously, as a defensive first team, I believe he was a first team this year selection. And with his improvement in 3 point marksmanship, he's shooting 61% from three in these finals. Ironically enough, the two games where he shot 4 for 5 and 5 for 9 from three were the two games that Oklahoma City actually ended up losing to the Pacers. But his impact has been felt nonetheless, no matter how much volume he's getting up shots wise, no matter who he's signed to on defense. He's an absolute professional. Uh, he's a great teammate. He's always willing to go the extra mile, dive for the loose ball, take the charge, box out a little harder for the rebound. He does a little bit of everything on the floor, and that should be absolutely commended. And Sun Devil fans should be thrilled that Lou Dort is 2 wins away from an NBA title. And on the other side, former Arizona players Benedict Mathurin and TJ McConnell are 2 games away from an NBA Finals loss. So that would be an extra consolation prize for many Sun Devils fans who expressed distaste for those players during their times in Tucson, their respective time in Tucson. Um, and that's a perfect segue into this season's Arizona State team. We've kind of talked about it in the past, but this is just absolutely something that puts what the upcoming team is going to look like into perspective. So, as you all know, John Rothstein, very well respected college basketball insider and reporter, he just tweeted out on X on Saturday morning, early this morning, that some of the Big 12 basketball programs are returning little to no production whatsoever. I believe that UCF and Baylor, along with West Virginia, are returning 0% of scoring production from last season. And that is absolutely absurd that there are 3 programs that are returning less than Arizona State. The only player that Arizona State and Bobby Hurley are returning going into Hurley's 11th season is Trevor Best, who was a late addition to the recruiting class. He came in around the time of Arizona State's winter break and the transition into conference play in the first season in the Big 12. Into the credit of Best, he had some pretty strong performances, including the game against BYU where he scored 16 points. But still, the roster turnover is absolutely inexplicable. At the end of the day, you can't blame Jaden Quaintance, you can't blame Josan San, and you can't blame Amir Ali if they felt like it was the best move for their career to go somewhere else where they felt like they could be more comfortable and developed into what they want to be more. That's fine. You can't blame them for that, but that just makes things all the more stressful on Hurley. Obviously, he's brought in several impressive players from Europe, overseas. Those big men should be impact players. We'll see what happens in Big 12 play. Marcus Adams Jr. is probably the most intriguing player that he brought over from Cal State Northridge. 16 points per game last season, 39% from three. He can score at all three levels. Mo Odom, breaking the mold of the last few seasons of Arizona State basketball where there wasn't really a true pure point guard. I suppose you could label Frankie Collins as a pure point guard, but he didn't have the jump shooting ability that Odom has. Odom shot around 38% from three last season at Pepperdine, and he averaged over 7 assists a game. So possibly switching it up from more of a score first guard backcourt combination like last season. BJ Freeman, Austin Mason, they were score first. They weren't really table setters. Same with Sannon. And you see what happens. You have all that conglomerate of talent, and none of them are really advanced when it comes to playmaking chops. Perhaps Odom is exactly what they needed to simplify the offense, to put things back to the basics, to make their sets flow more freely, if that makes sense. Lots of potentially impressive three-point shooters on this year's team. That was an issue last season as well. There wasn't very many dependable three-point shooters, and the spacing was all over the place, especially Sean Phillips and Quaintance manning down low. So we'll see if the roster construction that Bobby Hurley is trying this season and the ultimate turnover that they are set to see we'll see how that affects them going into Big 12 play after going 4-16 a year ago. We're now about 5 months away from the tip-off of the 2025-26 basketball season. Arizona State probably isn't going to be projected to finish too high in the Big 12 conference in its second season. But as we've seen in the past, Bobby Hurley does his best work when his back is against the wall. And I feel like it's too early for Arizona State fans to write him off explicitly at this moment. Thank you so much for coming in today. For the last 8 minutes have been a blast. Always enjoy talking about basketball, especially Sun Devil basketball. And thank you so much once again. I can't do this without you. One more time, follow me on X at khicks_21, and I'll see you tomorrow.